Really? It wasn't Boba Fett versus Samus remastered? How dare they? Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is the Raptor, and welcome back to another one of my Death Battle prediction videos. And next time on Death Battle, we have the long-awaited Boba Fett from Star Wars versus Predator from the Predator franchise. This was absolutely the fight that I thought we were gonna get when Boba Fett was teased at the end of Season 8 for Season 9. I know there were some other opponents he could have fought, like there was Star-Lord, who I'm very happy he's not fighting, and there was also Wolf from Star Fox, which I thought actually would have been kind of cool, especially since I have a personal connection to both of the characters. But I figured that if they were gonna have a Boba Fett fight that was on the back burner for a while, this would have been it, and I'm perfectly fine with it. I don't have any problems with it, and I think it could be a unique fight compared to some of the episodes that we've gotten so far in Season 9, so I'm perfectly fine with it. I will say, though, that predicting what Death Battle will say or use in this case is a little tricky. You know, in many Death Battles, a question will come up regarding a character that has many different versions, for lack of a better word, across official material, and whether or not Death Battle will create a composite character out of those versions or stick to like one specific version. For Boba Fett, though, that's actually the easy part. We know that Death Battle is going to primarily be looking at the movies, the TV shows, and the Legends canon comics. They've done it with a lot of Star Wars characters up to this point, and it's pretty easy to anticipate. However, Predator is a special case that we haven't really seen much of at all throughout Death Battle's run, which is that there are a lot of different Predators, but they are literally not the same person. Like, it's not like Boba Fett where there is the one and only Boba Fett that exists in each continuity respectively. There is a whole race of Predators, and they are completely different characters altogether. So while Death Battle has used various composite characters before, and while I could see them doing the same thing with Predator, I personally don't really think it makes a lot of sense to do that, you know, unless I'm missing something big that somehow enforces the idea that it could work that way. Maybe I am, I don't know. However, some of you might be thinking, well, whether or not you composite all of them together, couldn't you just say that one Predator could scale to all of the other Predators and say that they're all capable of the same feats regardless? The issue with that, though, is that while you might be able to compare some Predators to some others from a stat perspective, there are still a lot of weaponry changes between each version of Predator, and there are some versions that are meant to be way stronger than others, such as Scarface from the Concrete Jungle video game. However, I do want to point out that there aren't that many of those ridiculously stronger Predators out there, and if Death Battle is trying to go with a more main Predator, such as the first one, Jungle Hunter, you know, for example, to prioritize, you know, consistency and popularity, then something like Scarface definitely wouldn't qualify for something like that. As I've brought up in other videos, I'm not really interested in trying to make a prediction for every conceivable thing that Death Battle could do, because it just takes up a lot of time, and if I try to get too specific, then I could just end up screwing myself over in my prediction. So because I don't really think it makes a lot of sense to combine all of the Predators into one Predator, and because there are definitive versions of Predator that you could definitely choose from, then I'm going under the assumption that Death Battle will choose a Predator or use a Predator that is at least similar to a main one, like the Jungle Hunter Predator or the City Hunter Predator, for example. Some of you guys may not like that decision if Death Battle goes with it, and that may very well not be what they go with, you know, I don't know, and if that's the case, then whatever. But I think it's a safer bet to assume that Death Battle is going to go with a more popular version of Predator, because that's what most people will be thinking of when they search up who would win, Boba Fett versus Predator. It's just in their best interest to go with a more popular version. Could be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking. So under that assumption, how do they stack up? Well, first off, I'm questioning how much of a role the spaceships are going to play in this fight, and whether they're going to give Predator just like an individual scout ship or something even bigger. Obviously, Boba Fett would be getting the Slave One in this case, but whether they'd be included a little bit or not at all, I'm pretty sure the main focus is going to be on the characters themselves. So when looking at stuff like power, strength, and durability, Boba Fett's armor is made of Beskar, which is able to withstand lightsaber blows, hundreds of tons of TNT at least, and even the harshest of conditions. He's strong enough to kick down a steel door, and characters similar to him have tangled with Wookiees before, who are able to survive building-sized blasts. His strongest explosives, rockets, missiles, etc. are able to severely damage tough land vehicles and structures, as well as some single-pilot aerial ships, grips, and he also has access to knives on his gauntlets and feet. He's got sonic, concussion, and flashbang grenades, targeting systems, a jetpack, a disintegrating blaster rifle, a flamethrower, a fiber cord whip, and a lightsaber he's picked up just in case. Predator, on the other hand, has shown the strength needed to dent and bend steel, kick over a reinforced truck, and he can even equip special gauntlets to increase his striking power even further. He can withstand many shotgun rounds, exploding arrows, which can create small explosions, and of course take hits from predators that are comparable to himself. And some of his strongest weapons, like the plasma casters, are able to blow holes through humans and can likely output more energy than he can himself physically, you know? And that's not even counting his self-destruct system, which can wipe out hundreds of city blocks, but will also kill himself. And for the rest of his weapons, while I said before that there are differences between all of the Predator's arsenals, I do want to go over all of the main weapons because I still don't know what Death Battle is going to include exactly. So this includes wrist blades, an extendable spear, electrical discharges, a net that closes around the opponent after being fired, a remote-controlled smart disc, hologram projectors, targeting systems, and a cloaking device. Again, I don't think there is a single Predator that has all of these things at the same time, but I wanted to go over as much as I could just to cover as many bases as I could. But no matter how Death Battle decides to handle the weaponry, it definitely seems like Boba Fett has the advantage in terms of overall strength, power, and durability when comparing all of their feats to each other. I think that Boba Fett definitely has the firepower needed to be able to do some serious damage to Predator, both from a distance and up close, and, you know, eventually put him down for good. Whereas Predator doesn't really seem to have a good way of getting past Boba Fett's Beskar armor, at least not very quickly. Obviously, his best option for that, or his best chance, is using his self-destruct function, but even then, I wouldn't say that's a guarantee, especially when you compare Beskar to other medals in Star Wars. And even then, I can't really see Death Battle giving the win to Predator for just that, if Boba Fett also has win cons, except in which he doesn't die, which is certainly the case, you know? And even then, I just think that Boba Fett's arsenal has a lot of ways of countering Predator's arsenal very solidly, you know, like using his sensors to, you know, sneak out Predator when he's using his cloaking, using his knives to be able to cut himself free from the net, and just being able to use his jetpack to maneuver around certain other weaponry altogether. And when it comes to speed, Boba Fett has kept up with enough Jedi and Sith by this point, like Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, Mace Windu, and way more, to solidify reactions that at least approach their level, while for Predator, really to my knowledge, he only has like dodging machine gun fire and moving faster than eyesight, meaning not much faster than supersonic generally, unless he has a random laser dodging feat, because it seems like everybody does. Although, to be fair, it doesn't really seem like either of these characters have too many big weaknesses. Like for Predator, he has this thing where he might not use some of his stronger weaponry because of his honor, but if I recall correctly, that's really only when he's fighting characters that he considers unworthy prey, and I definitely don't think Boba Fett qualifies for that. He also has a special apparatus for breathing in certain areas that he sometimes needs, but then he's also shown to be just fine without it for long periods of time, so I don't think it's going to be a huge deal. And when it comes to Boba Fett, I guess his biggest weakness is just his jetpack, as it's been exploited before, but even then he's also used it very effectively before, so I don't think we can call that like a full detriment. And of course, both of these characters are very skilled bounty hunters. They have a lot of kills under their belts. They're both masters of the battlefield, absolutely. It's just that for the world that Boba Fett lives in, it's just led to him performing greater feats on a technical level. So that's pretty much everything I have to say here. If Death Battle decides to combine pretty much all of the Predators into one, or just straight up use a stronger version, then I definitely think he has a higher chance of winning. But if they are going with a more popular version of Predator, or something similar to that, then I don't think it has quite enough to compete with Boba Fett. Yes, both of the characters have weaponry that the other one doesn't have, but in general, I just think that Boba Fett has a better chance of overcoming Predator's durability than Predator has of getting past Boba Fett's armor. I just think in general, Boba Fett has stronger weapons on average, or weapons that can deal more damage on average, and while both of them are really cunning and really intelligent and have a lot of experience fighting a lot of opponents, even opponents similar to each other, I think in general, Boba Fett has more experience fighting more powerful and faster opponents, so there's a better case to be made for putting his stats at higher levels on top of his physical feats. I don't really see this fight being dictated by who can outsmart the other one first, since they're both incredibly proficient proficient in that field. I think it's more so going to come down to who can more easily win in an actual physical fight. And I just think that Boba Fett is more set for that kind of fight. So if Death Battle goes the route that I think they're going to go down, or like a similar route, then I'm putting my money on Boba. And if they do something completely different from what I'm expecting, well then GG. Regardless of all of that, I want to hear what you guys have to say. Who do you think is going to win? Are you excited for this fight? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. If you enjoyed this video as well, be sure to give it a like and subscribe if you could too. That would be amazing. But no matter what you guys do, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'm really excited for this fight. I think it has the potential to be really, really cool, and I hope you guys are excited as well. But yeah, that's it for me. I will see all of you guys in the next video. Peace out.